Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be making an easy weeknight chicken stir fry. This recipe is made to give you an Asian inspired stir fry while also being super simple and easy to cook, and to modify into different types of stir fry with different ingredients and spices. So for our base ingredients, we will be needing about a pound of chicken per 2 people cut into 1-inch cubes, and here we will be using a frozen stir fry vegetable mix, which we will need about 1 cup of per person, but extra never hurts. This also cuts out a ton of our prep time and is one of the things that makes this for an easier recipe for busy weeknights. For spices, we will need 1 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons pepper, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1 teaspoon onion powder, 2 teaspoons ginger powder, 2 teaspoons soy sauce, and either 2 tablespoons of lemon or lime juice. And finally, we'll need some heat. These are what I would suggest, so for the amount of these, they're estimates at best since everyone has different tolerances for heat in their food. A few special notes. Sambal ulek is quite hot, so it may stand out as being a small amount compared to the others, but trust me, even with it only being 1 teaspoon to start, it will probably be hotter than some of the others' second level of heat. For example, the takeout packets. Speaking of takeout packets, they tend to be a bit lower in spice and heat, so you may need a third if you go that route. And finally, gochujang, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I was unable to test that, but I did want to point out that since it has a sweet element to it, it might be easy to add too much, so I would start a bit on the low side, for example at 2 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more like it, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, share it with your friends and family. So, for this recipe, we begin with our spices. We're going to mix all of our ingredients except for the chicken and vegetables into a paste to let it rehydrate and bloom the spices. This is going to make sure that we get a nice even level of spices and heat throughout our dish. By blooming it like this, we will also be bringing out a more intense flavor from all of our dried spices. So, while that rehydrates and it does its magic, let's get to the frying part of the stir fry. Now, let's start with the vegetables part of our dish. We want to add our frozen vegetables to a non-stick pan on medium heat. Right now we just want to defrost the pieces and give them a chance to start cooking a little bit. Depending on your range top, this is going to take somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. We are using a non-stick pan to allow us to do most of this hands-off during the beginning, and it can just kind of sit there, and by not touching it for the first 5 to even possibly 10 minutes after it's defrosted, we can get a light scorching on some of the more sugary vegetables like the carrots. You can kind of just let it cook away and check every 5 minutes or so until all the vegetables have started to soften and the aroma is starting to increase in potency. You'll smell the carrots or things like that really quick. Once everything is starting to soften, we can add our spice paste. I'm also adding a sliced onion since I like onion in my stir fry, and this mix didn't happen to have any in it. The spice blend we are using is actually a pretty good base for making a lot of different styles of stir fry. You can use it with different sauces as well as such as teriyaki sauce instead of chili paste or oil, and it'll end up tasting dramatically different. It works for beef, pork, and chicken, but it's a bit too intense for fish or any of like super light tasting things. I used a little bit of water just to get the last pieces of the paste out, and just a tiny bit more water to help the flavors steam into the pieces of vegetables. At this point, we're going to want to cook it for about 5 more minutes while the paste basically flavors all the vegetables. Once all our flavors have mingled and gotten to know one another, we are ready for the chicken. If your pan has room like mine, you can do as I'm doing here and push all the vegetables to the outside of the pan and cook the chicken in a combo of the vegetable liquids and spice paste. Since we made the chicken pieces a bit small, they will cook up in about 3 to 5 minutes. Once our chicken is almost done, we want to mix it in and let it finish cooking into the spice paste while we reduce our liquids down and thicken them up a little bit. We can speed this up after the chicken is almost all done by pushing our ingredients to the outer edge and letting the sauce boil away in the center, and since we have the rest of our ingredients sort of out of the way, you can see how much it's reducing at that point as well. You'll want to reduce this until it's thick enough to coat the vegetables. This usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes again, and once you are done with that, we are ready to serve. And with that, we have our stir fry. I'm serving mine on riced cauliflower that I spiced up with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. But of course this also goes well with normal rice. So, as always, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe for more recipes and some more cat pictures. As always, have a great day and a great meal, and I hope to see you here for the next video.